Bakersmen Collective presents Light Up and Listen.
Vibes, okay? Nothing but vibes. What's up, everybody? What's up, Polite? Hey, Heather. I'm Lotto with the Bakersmen Collective. Thank you for joining me today. I wanted to... What's up, D'Anthony? How you doing? Morning. Got a little bit of tunes, love tunes rocking, and I wanted to hop on today specifically just because it's been a minute since we've given an update, tapped in with the community, and I just wanted to chat. I gotta roll up, I got somewhere to be in a bit, so stay tuned as we light up and listen. I roll the joint, we talk about it. What's been going on, music-wise? What brings us here today? I'll be honest, there hasn't been a body of work that has captured my attention that has dropped in the month. What's up, Ooey? Dropped in the month of August. With that, the DJ mixes on SoundCloud has saved my life, okay? And so today, as you heard coming into the room, I didn't keep it playing because you know Instagram and the algorithm really hates that. But Kareem found him on SoundCloud, and he did a guest mix with Mr. Celestic. They've got Lovers Rock, which is, if you know anything about me, outside of the fact that I'm a head baker and I like weed, my mom's from the Cayman Islands, my dad's from Barbados, so island music gets me all the time. And Lovers Rock, I think that was like in the 70s. That's where, before you get to dance hall and that style of reggae out there, you got Lovers Rock, right? And that's the tunes my mom always plays in the house, like cleaning up. It was never, I mean, really Bob was there, but it was his earlier stages when he was a part of Lovers Rock that was being played. But Barris Hammond, individuals like that. So when I found this mix on SoundCloud, my goodness, it was everything I needed. And I've started rolling up, but I didn't share. So I, went after the nug a little bit, but I am smoking some Sour Kush by FDG. Man, something about this strain, like, one, we took a tour of the operation, so the folks that work there love cannabis, and the ins and outs of it. But more importantly, this strain, Sour Kush, I think is my all-time favorite. I was stuck on peach rings for a little bit. Their White Tahoe cookies is good. I haven't smoked a bad weed from them, but this Sour Kush, it just like, boom. You're smoking, all of a sudden you're just like, I'm fucking high. I'm loaded right now. So now, you finished yours already? Aw, that's so sad, D. But back to Lovers Rock. So when I saw this mix come out, I hit play, and then I paused. When you play something and you start hearing it, and you're like, no way. So you pause, make sure you get a joint, and circle back to play this. That was me. People who love cannabis and grow good cannabis, they do. Like, and it doesn't take coming from a cannabis background to be there, right? You just have to honestly love what you're doing and care about what you're putting out there for consumers. And once you reach those two things and acquire the right team of individuals, man, I can't wait for y'all to see this I-502 tour, to hear staff members talk about how they're being treated there, because that is the other side of this industry that you just generally don't hear positive things from. So I was very pleased to tour their operation and give you some insider scoops on it, all right? But back to the conversation. So if you're out here talking about, if you're going to come on my live and talk about, well, Beyonce dropped an album. It dropped in July, okay? It dropped at the end of July. And I'm not dissing it. Renaissance is doing its thing. But I'm talking about the month of August. And in the month of August, I haven't heard anything that caught my ear, except for this DJ mix. So I reshared it on the story earlier. Go play it, man. Light up, roll up. Come join me with the vibes. Outside of that, what has been happening in Washington in terms of equity? That was really why I wanted to get y'all on this live and chat. We've had some recent updates, thanks to the Liquor and Cannabis Board and the City of Seattle. And I thought, let me share it with you. Also, my dog thought, let me bark at people. So, On 8/3, the Liquor and Cannabis Board approved filing proposed social equity rules, right? Yay, finally. Like, we've been seeing the conceptual draft rules over and over again, but we have not, seen something finalized. Well, they approved it. Now, just because they've approved some conceptual draft rules does not mean that the work is, for sure, does not mean the work is done. The earliest these rules will be finalized will be the 28th of September, right? So between now and then, they have it open for public comments. So you can review these rules, which we dropped a link in our bio, and see, is there any pieces of it you don't necessarily agree with, and submit a comment until 9/14. And I think that anyone who has any remaining concerns about what we're doing to provide equity within the state should review those rules, proposed rules, and submit a statement. No more talking around the issue or seeing what they're doing afterwards. Make your voice count. Finally, well, not really finally, but they're also waiting on a UW analysis of the SECTF criteria for a disproportionately impacted area to be submitted and turned into the board. So outside of that, they also are waiting for the third-party entity to review these applications to get contracted. So they already have the positions open, but they need this third party. All very important to get some equity across on a statewide level. I watched the hour-long meeting that had this discussion that had general positive statements. There was one statement that I just couldn't get down with, which was Delta 9 is horrible. It was like, we do not approve of Delta 8 or Delta 9. And I think that was a statement that should be reflected upon, because Delta 9 is just THC. So if you don't approve of Delta 9, then you don't approve of the cannabis industry out here in Washington. So, like, what are we actually discussing when we are in front of these boards? Like, do you want your opinion discredited? I'm like, what are we talking about at this point in time? We have an actual industry built off of Delta 9, and minor cannabinoids are just as important. Okay, so saying that you don't want Delta 8 does not actually, that you don't approve of Delta 8 tells me that you don't really understand the scientific makeup of a cannabis plant and its constituents. So you can say you don't want Delta 8 derived by CBD products. Sure, that makes sense. And as a whole, we have legislation banning it. So cool. Like at this point, the LCB moved to reflect on what has been allowed in this industry. But minor cannabinoids matter, okay? Terpenes matter. And truthfully, I want us to move towards an industry that provides all that information on the label, because that is, in combination with all of that, we know actually makes up the high that you experience. So get on the same page, please, as organizations. Like, if before you speak in front of legislators as a representative of the cannabis organization, get on the same dang page. That's all I gotta say to that. And keep in mind, there are two waves of things happening right now for equity. We have the state equity efforts, right? So the Liquor and Cannabis Board and the Social Equity Task Force efforts. And then we have the City of Seattle efforts, right? And mainly the City of Seattle efforts are trying to match up and change their local legislation to be on par with what the state is now proposing, right? But the City of Seattle itself has to own up for its own direct impact, right. Its own direct impact on the disproportionately affected individuals living within their zip code. So they met on 8/9 to kind of many different things, right? The council met to discuss many different issues. Amongst those issues were ordinances that they are proposing to match up with those city guidelines. And it was informative, but once again, a little bit lackluster in the terms of they determined that it's going to need $250,000 to get what they want achieved done, but they don't know where they're going to get that money from. So what do I have to say to it? If you fit the criteria for a social equity applicant, get your ducks in a row to apply, right? Furthermore, attend these events or these meetings and stay up to date as possible. My goodness. Okay. Oh, okay. I'm just going to pause. I mean, apparently there is an emergency happening and they got to get there. So, from that meeting, there's like memorandum proposed that's also in our link in our bio. So all of this, the recorded meetings linked in our bio, the memorandums from them, the cannabis, the social equity draft rules, all of it. I tagged them all in our bio, and shout out to the Cannabis Observer for making sure that we have not only the latest information but access to all of this when individuals like myself are out on the ground recording grow tours, interacting with the community. Sometimes it's hard to make it into these meetings directly. Let me circle back. The City of Seattle's meeting on 8/9 led to a conversation where they were going to vote on the proposed changes or ordinances in a special meeting on 8/11. Now, from there, I have not seen an update of what they've gathered. So, hopefully it did pass. Anyone care to comment? Please drop it in the chat or the comment post after this hits our story or our feed. My overall thoughts, despite all of this conversation, I think that's really why I go live, right? To share these thoughts with you. And it's, do you think that despite what we're trying to get done for equity, if you're looking at a disproportionately impacted community, they have the capital or the business acumen to be successful in the current established Washington cannabis industry? And despite technical programs and training that we are proposing, when it's time for individuals to apply for these applicants, who do you think is going to finance them, right? Because it takes a lot of startup capital. So where are they going to get this capital from? Likely the already established businesses that are predominantly white that have the money, white owned. I mean, like that's facts, right? So is it going to make a difference? That's the questions we want to know. Is it truly going to make a difference in our community? For some organizations like ECC or others that have been here before, absolutely. But in the grand scheme of things, I'm unsure. I want to see how this plays out, right? How this plays out on the market. And we're almost there. So let's stay down, stay true, and hopefully we move on. Now, T.B.C. updates. Now that I've given you like my quick spiel on the equity and landscape and where you got to get to, we dropped the Magnus Cannabis full-length tour and review, which is a Black-owned operation. It's on our YouTube now. And shout out to DeAnthony and Gifted Gab for participating in the review of their products. Check out where we got all our laughs from. We had Blaze and Breathe, Personal Power, canceled. It was scheduled to be on August 20th, but our instructor needed some time to gather his power. So please send love and light to Daniel V. And instead, you can catch us in Tacoma supporting the Fish House Cafe, a Black-owned business, and getting our laugh on at the Dope Show being held at the Tacoma Comedy Club. So if you want to exchange, conversation, energy, do a little breathing with us while we inhale some cannabis, meet us there. Right, exactly. Thank you, Heather, for sending that love and light. So, Blaze and Breathe. Now, onto our intentional cannabis use program. We dropped a recap of our Polite media event that we attended and loved what they shared as an organization. Please go watch it. It's in our story as well. We need 6 more BIPOC individuals to beta test our program. We have added Polite products to our recommended list. Yeah, you can hear more about that organization straight from the founder's mouth in our recap. So tune in. Finally, the Bakersmen shop returns at the end of September. So a lot of people have been asking me where they can get our hats at, and it will definitely be on our website at the end of September. So I know it was quick, it was brief, it was, the fastest rundown, right? No, of course. We support individuals that actually care about the community and care about what they're putting out into the world, right? At the end of the day. So thank you, Stay Polite. And what was I going to say? To cap this, music. I haven't found an album that has rocked me, but the Karim Love Chunes with Mr. Celestic has been bomb. So roll up, listen. 2, equity is underway within Washington, but we're unsure of what that impact is going to be. So stay tuned. 3, T.B.C. is working, man. We out here. We dropping content. We're, moving in the community and supporting like-minded individuals, and want to help you with your cannabis use needs. So get at us. Stay baked, everybody.